Starting in the arm, I'll just kind of figure out where I want to stop the blend of this second bone. It's going to look pretty horrible right now because the arm really separates pretty badly. I actually got the paint looking pretty much the way I expected when I lower this arm here too, so that was kind of a nice to be able to get that on the first try. If I go back into paint mode, I'm going to pick the bicep bone. I'm just going to start giving some of the influence up here. So that's going to look a lot better when we blend it. And that already creates a more natural shape. It does pull a little bit when you pull the character's arm down all the way, but keep in mind that these points are going to be blended together pretty nicely. You could even try something like that, but I think this looks better just to start with. Move into the elbow here. I can just run the rest pose and just keep working down the arm. This elbow looks pretty nice. You can see I'm probably going to want another edge loop in here. In fact, it would be pretty easy to add it in right now. We are in a modeling construction mode, so it would be very simple to drop an edge loop in and freeze the history stack, yet still have that edge loop be weighted in properly. Right now, if you actually look at our objects geo, all we have is an envelope operator in our construction history, and we'll be adding extra edge loops to the modeling stack. So I can use the close brackets tool, or actually going under model, modify polymesh split edge tool. And if you look at the mouse line, it's asking us to use either our left, middle, or terminate the tool with our right. And if I move my mouse over an edge, I can split the parallel edges with the middle mouse button. And actually, if I hold Control, I'll be putting that parallel edge loop right in between, at 50% between these two neighboring edges, which means I can go over to the other side, hold down Control, and add that point in again with my middle mouse button. And I know that that geometry is mirrored perfectly. We do have two extra split edge operators, however, I can freeze those using the Freeze M button. Notice that Freeze M is just freezing whatever's under the modeling portion of the construction history and not under the animation portion. So again, it's not looking so bad. You can actually see that it did a 50-50 blend between these two 100% weighted objects, as that's exactly what happens when you insert new vertices, edges, or polygons in between or onto a weighted polygon mesh. The wrist twist is looking okay right now. If I just have a look at the way that this is working, I could probably make a sharper blend here. I'll just grab the forearm bone and just make sure we have a nice hard transition. I really don't like to use this twist bone as a deformer. I just use it to rotate, so I can actually just paint the wrist or the palm bone's influence rather than using the twist bone. Alright, that looks pretty good. And now I can go back and paint the palm bone. And isolate the thumb. To about there. I do want to give the thumb some freedom. But again, a lot of that can just be blended together. Alright, that works there. This needs to we weight it a little better here. I'm going to paint the thumb bone and pull all these deformers with it to create a sharper transition. But I don't think these points here should be involved, so I'll paint out their influence by adding the deformation to this bone here. The first bone of the thumb rather than the second. I'm going to try this again. Again, not too bad. I'll just add in the influence of the second bone to this point here. And I think this is starting to work. Let's check that last bone out. And that'll be perfect. That'll work out really well. Maybe adding in an extra edge loop right at the knuckle line here. Just use the close bracket tool, control middle click, and we get that nice extra supporting edge loop put in. I'll go and do that to the other side. Control middle click and freeze the modeling stack. Of course, I can just take those points again, just highlight them and mirror their influence over to the other side, and those will get picked up right away. So next I can work on weighting in the rest of the fingers. Let's put the character back in the rest pose. Again, always return to the rest pose because it's the safest place to be in. Do all your testing outside of the rest pose and return back to it when you're finished testing. Again, I'll just do a quick mass mirror weights. Make sure I got some of those points and areas I've been working on over on this left side over to the right, and you can see that the shoulder had been missing there.